Hello everybody, and what is going on? So today I thought it would be a good idea to update a previous video that I did called the top 5 places to shop online for streetwear. You will never know how many takes it took to say that, but yes, today we are updating the top 5 video that I did a few months ago. In that video I gave everyone a starting point to begin the whole online shopping journey, a few essential sites which everyone should know, and I left a more detailed list in the description of that video, and in the comment section people disclosed their personal favourite shopping websites. So I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, you know what, yeah, 5 isn't going to cut it. I feel like I'm doing everyone a disservice by just putting these sites in the description of the video. These sites need their own video, they need to be heard. So yes, 107 websites. So today I'm giving you the ultimate shopping index, bird's eye view into the fashion matrix, the R2, R2, L1, L1, left down, right up, left down, right up. So I've divided the 107 sites into 5 categories: fashion houses, high street retailers, high-end fashion retailers, vintage streetwear, and independent streetwear. And each of these categories have their own subcategories, but we're not going to deep it too much. So without further ado, we are going to jump into the first category, fashion houses. So a super quick introduction into fashion houses. All of these sites are own brand, so these brands sell their own quality items. They're just a few of my personal favorites. These are the brands that got me interested in streetwear in the first place, so they had to have a place on this list, and especially first. So firstly, we have SCRT Store, a really cool independent streetwear brand. They like to have a lot of fun with their designs, and the clothes are really well made as well. Secondly, we have A.P.C, more of a contemporary brand. A.P.C houses a lot of pieces that you would keep in a capsule wardrobe. MKI Store, all in all, very, very wavy. Patta, an all-round cool brand. It is the cornerstone in streetwear at the moment. A very, very good starting point to get into streetwear. Places+Faces, a very, very cool brand. Very, very wavy. I really like their work. Their clothes have a certain roadman aesthetic to them, and the brand as a whole has a very authentic feel to it. Palace Skateboards. If you've heard about streetwear, you've most likely heard about Palace. The garms speak for himself, and the product descriptions on the Palace website is reason enough to check out their site. Supreme, yet another entry-level streetwear brand, synonymous with hypebeasts. I'll be honest with you, it is a lot harder to cop online, but it is what it is. And finally, a cold wall. You can probably identify a cold wall with more high fashion. It's a little bit more expensive. This particular brand just interests me, so I had to put it on this list. And that is it for the own brand fashion houses. So for the remaining 4 categories, I'm not going to go too mad with the descriptions. Some of these are going to be quick fire. I'm just going to name one after the other. I'll be honest with you, I haven't bought something from every single website I'm going to mention, but while researching for this video, I found most of these websites on reputable blogs, people in the streetwear community, and recommendations from the basement users and wavy garm users. So with all that out of the way, let's jump into the next category, high street retailers. So if you go to any big town high street, any city, these are mainly the shops you're going to see, or just stores that can be considered super retailers or just mainstream in general. So firstly, we have Size, ASOS, Urban Outfitters, Sneakersnstuff, Foot Locker, Selfridges, Offspring, Harrods, JD Sports for all of your Huarache Ultra needs, H&M, New Look, Topman, Forever 21, River Island, Zara, and Primarni for all of your fast fashion needs. I didn't even know Primark had their own website, but the more you know. Uniqlo, All Saints, aka expensive Zara, Boohoo, Mango, Bershka, and Pull&Bear. So the third category is high-end retailers. In these retailer websites, you will find a lot of designers. These sites are for people who want to spend a little bit more money, or people who vibe with designer style. Me, personally, I would say that I have a basic understanding of high fashion. I just like to keep an open mind. So, for high fashion retailers, we have Need Supply Co., Ssense, LNCC, Farfetch, End Clothing for cool streetwear and high fashion, Matches Fashion, KITH, Opening Ceremony, Dover Street Market eShop. Also, fun fact, if you actually go into a Dover Street Market shop, all the security guards wear Comme des Garçons sweatshirts. No joke, no long thing. Slam, Jam Socialism, and Mr. Porter for your gentleman high fashion needs. So those are all the main high fashion retailers. So now we're going to move into a subcategory of high fashion boutiques. So these would be small shops that you find in the corner of a high street, or just more independent shops. So we have Polloi, I probably butchered the pronunciation, Truck Clothiers, Autograph, the Priory, I don't get these high fashion names, bruv. Ascent Clothing, The Bureau, Psyche, Aphrodite, Intro, Pegs & Son, Liquor Store, Son of a Stag, Triads, Pigale, and Stylebop. Now, you have to allow me with some of the pronunciation. I am not a high fashion man, but if you want to help out and tell me any of the correct pronunciation for any of these names, please leave them in the comment section down below. The Sickmate project is a collaborative experience. Moving on to the next category, vintage streetwear. So vintage streetwear is basically second-hand fashion. Most notable vintage streetwear brands such as Tommy Hilfiger, Polo Ralph Lauren, Fred Perry, Burberry, Aquascutum play a big part in vintage streetwear, just to name a few. Most of these are big cartel websites run by individuals and independent sellers. So let's jump into the vintage streetwear websites. So firstly, we have Rocket Vintage. They have a few stores in London, like one in Covent Garden, a couple in Shoreditch, etc, etc. Duke's Cupboard, they do a lot of vintage and streetwear. Rick's Retro, 97th Vintage, Fresh Faced Vintage, Prime Vintage, The Vintage Clearance, Blitz London, which is like a really big vintage store, Retro Flex Shop, Desire Vintage, Baggy Boys, Garm Shack, Price Check Store, Benedict's Vintage, Vintage Freds, Get Shirty Vintage, BB Vintage, Class Vintage. You are not a vintage store unless you have the word vintage in your name. Callum's Vintage and Dead Stock Official. Just a little bonus as well, if you like all the old brands which is associated with vintage streetwear, then you can check out some user marketplaces like the ASOS Marketplace and Depop, Facebook groups like The Basement and Wavy Garms, or sites like Etsy or eBay. So moving on to the last category of the day, independent streetwear. So, independent streetwear is a category of shops that house multiple streetwear brands like Edwin, Carhartt, North Face, Champion, Fila, Kappa. The list for streetwear brands could go on all day. I'll probably do another video on that. But these independent streetwear retailers house multiple brands like that. Some of these stores have real life locations in cities like in London, Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds. Some of these shops have their own focus, like some focus more towards sportswear clothing, some more contemporary clothing, some focus on sneakers. The list goes on. So each of these retailers have their own niche, so to speak. So let's jump straight into these retailers. Firstly, we have ASOS Marketplace, which I mentioned before. It does come under the same category as vintage streetwear, but the marketplace is too big just to put into one category. Moving on, we have Natterjacks, Wellgosh, Hanon, Cali Roots, Content Store, Foot Patrol, Benny Culture, Edgestar, 424, Good Hood, Route 1, Flat Spot, Slam City Skates, Weaver's Door, and Exile Clothing. Now, the rest of these retailers are more sneaker based, more shoe based. However, most of these do sell clothes as well. So a quick little tip, if you're looking for limited edition sneakers, most Yeezys, most limited Nikes, and other small brands like Saucony and Diadora will stock on most of these stores. So these stores are definitely worth checking out if you miss your limited edition shoe on drop day. So we have BSTN Store, 43 Einhalab, this very well might be German, Sneaker Bass, Foot District, 5 Points, Urban Industry, Overkill, Asphalt Gold, Soulbox, Tint Store, A Few Store, The Goodwill Out, Sneak Avenue, Suede Store, and Alki. So that was independent streetwear, and that was 107 places to shop online for streetwear. Now, while researching these websites, I did try to find as many international shipping websites as possible, just to make it a little bit more universal for everyone. Most of these stores, if not all of these stores, are European based, mostly in the UK, but not exclusively. So if you're not from Europe, just be aware that shipping costs apply, and it is not cheap to send something from Europe to the other side of the world. Trust me, I know. Royal Mail, no. So let me know in the comment section down below if you think I've missed any of your favorite websites. Let me know if you've had any customer experience with any of these websites mentioned today. Are they good? Are they bad? Share the experience. Let me know. Let me know what fashion houses you've been feeling recently, what shops you think deserve recognition, and for anything else shopping related, fashion related, style related, leave your comments in the comment section down below. And that is actually where I'm going to end today's video. So if you like this video, then you can give it a nice little like. If you want to subscribe and see if more of what I do, because I do a lot of fashion based stuff, lifestyle based stuff, and style based stuff, then you can by using a subscribe button that can be located anywhere on this web page here. Share this video with your friends, and now that is everything. Bye.
Who is is Cthulhu, an elitist writer, trapped in a cycle of an all-nighter, destined to die by slow suicide with the spark of a lighter, embodied at a hunter, hit it with a hit combo with a rich man's taste to the pauper's hunger. Demon math, I'm 670 when I ran up the numbers. Maths and science, eat with gluttonous giants, then have drinks with devils and demons. Heathens don't belong in my region.